Hello, this is Beth Russell from Studio Sapan, the founder of Studio Sapan and the co-founder of Thai Herbal Topicals. Today I'm showing you a quick tutorial for how to relax your jaw, neck, and head with the steamed herbal compress. I've just steamed this up, so it's piping hot. You can start basically with it inside a towel when it's too hot to hold with your bare hands. And briefly, if you have not seen the process of steaming this up previously, you soak it in a little bowl of hot water, smush the compress into the hot water, take it out, and put it in a steamer on the stove top, the steaming rack of a rice cooker, or with a small amount of water in a bowl or cup. Put this into a microwave after it has been soaked and put it on high for a minute, just like you would boil tea. Take it out, use a towel to grab it out of the steamer or out of the cup of the microwave, and then go. So it could take anywhere from 2 minutes using a microwave to maybe 5 minutes to 10 minutes using a stovetop steamer. So it's quite fast to prepare. This is the smallest one that I've used, which is just made out of herbs that are meant to target the skin of the face and even the very delicate tissue around the eye. So this is safe to use around the eye, around the face and neck. Other compresses are much bigger that are meant to use mainly on the body for large areas of tense muscles and that type of thing. So I'm going to demonstrate with the smallest one, but you can use bigger herbal compresses too, as long as they're safe and for your skin and doesn't react with your face. So the steamed herbal compress, again, is part of Thai and Ayurvedic tradition of medicine. And I'm using this in the context of Thai medicine and really adapting it for home use, which is something that is frequently done. You can buy these at grocery stores in Thailand, so people use them at home all the time. So I find this to be one of the fastest ways to relax tension headaches and relieve pain from tension headaches, relieve those low-level, constant nagging headaches that come from eye strain, that come from neck tension. So the first part of what we're going to do is actually working on the back of the neck at the line where your skull meets the top of your spine, and that's called the occipital line, and it's generally in the hairline for most people. So once your herbal compress is steamed up, we're going to basically hold it in between your fingers like this, and put it at the center of the back of your neck. Hold it here. Relax. Relax your neck. Relax your hand. Relax your shoulders. And let the heat of the herbal compress slowly make its way through your hair into the center of the area right above your spine. This is a really important point for opening up energy to your whole head. So we want to hold it here gently. You can even use your hands as a resting, something to rest on. Rest your head back, relax your neck, and stretch a little. Now we're going to move it out to the sides, towards your ear, along the occipital line. And I like to use this rocking movement, but you can also just hold it. Hold and press. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Hold and press. The important thing about this is when you're using it on yourself at home, you can even go more slowly than I am demonstrating. So the slower, deeper pressure is the most efficient way to use the herbal compress. So think gentle but firm pressure. Let the weight of your head rest on the compress, kind of like a little pillow. You can think of it as a pressure point relief ball that has the benefit of not being pokey. It won't injure the tissues if you press really hard. It's going to be forgiving. It's also warm, and the herbs inside it are anti-inflammatory. So we have all of these things working for it to make it both safe and very effective. So we're going to just keep working along the occipital line to let it open up. The more you can relax this area, the more your scalp can relax, and also your eyes. These acupressure points here are used to help clear your eyes and help with tension headaches that focus around the eyes. So you can also test that out by then going straight from here to your eye, as long as it's not too hot. Want it to be basically warm, no longer steaming when it's actually over this eye area. And just press, the goal is to press right here, the inner corner of the eyebrow. Hold, roll up and release. Hold, roll up and release. You can go across the eyebrow doing exactly that. Gently, gently, gently. So we're thinking to get to the center of the issue very quickly. If you're experiencing eye strain and pain, occipital line, then straight to the eyebrows. So this is one way we can very quickly relieve tension, headaches. And then of course we work on the temples. So holding in here, the temple, basically half on and half off the hairline. Small circles are good. You want to try to move the skin of the scalp. So you're anchoring it on the skin, and instead of scraping this over the surface, you're holding it so you're moving the skin with it. Great. Anchor, move the skin with it. And really make space for the ability to take a lot of time on each move. There we go. So, occipital line, eyebrows, temples. Then we can actually work on the pressure points of the shoulders, top of the shoulders. So because so much of this contributes to tension here, you want to use your opposite. So I'm using my right hand to press on my left shoulder, holding it from basically behind the trapezius muscle. I'm going to roll across the top and hold with pressure downward and forward. So we're squeezing that muscle, accessing that pressure point, and letting our both shoulders come down. And you can rock over the top of that muscle to create a little bit more compression and friction. As you move up the neck, from the shoulder to the neck, you want to be ever mindful once we're underneath the ear and forward. You never want to use strong pressure. You want to use extremely light pressure and keep moving it. So we don't occlude any arteries or veins, and we don't cause any pressure-based damage to the nerves in that area. So top of the shoulder, left side. Top of the shoulder, right side. Give yourself time to fully engage with that muscle and roll over the top. Fully engage with the muscle and roll over the top. So this is something that is extremely useful for tech neck. I just want to do this all day. So you can really use a larger compress in this exact same way. When you use a smaller compress, it's more like a pressure point massage. When you use a larger compress, it's like accessing a full herbal heat pad and just giving it a pressure. So it's when you can use a large herbal compress in this area, it really efficiently relaxes this whole area. So you can see it. It's a bit red there. So if you want to, you can actually take advantage of the texture of the cotton and scrape the surface of the skin to provide a little bit of friction massage. That will also help release some of the connective tissue and relieve the tension of the muscles underneath it even more. So sometimes I will scrape over the top, scrape, scrape. And then you can also do the same thing in the back of the neck going up. And this is something that's really wonderful to do when you're feeling fatigued or like losing focus because you're kind of tired midday. This is something that's great to just wake up your mind and relax your neck, open things up. So go up, up, up. As you can see, it's really activating that area. So there's multiple ways in which the herbal compress works. It works with heat, it works with pressure, works with friction, and it works transdermally with the herbal constituents. So moving on, now that we've really worked on the back of the neck, which is so important when we're working on the jaw and the front of the neck as well. Now we're going to actually continue. Before we come up to the face, we're going to work on the sternum area and under the clavicle. So if you're following along at home, I would recommend that you take a moment to re-steam the herbal compress. Just soak it again, pop it in the microwave, soak it again, and pop it on the stovetop for just a couple minutes to reactivate the heat because it is more effective as we go along to keep it warm. So you can pause the video, go steam it, and we'll come back. So I'm just going to continue working with this because I love even just using the shape and the pressure, and it's still warm. So what we're going to do next is, as it's piping hot, remember, covering with a towel. You can do all of these moves with a towel covering the herbal compress as well. So now we're going to actually find this notch between where our collarbones meet our sternum and find the little ledge there and press down gently onto the bone. And I like to hold that area and let the energy move downward. So a lot of the work up here is trying to open up energy, let it circulate around our head, and now we want to help direct it back down. Let the energy in our chest move and dissipate. And imagine energy moving from the top of your head through your brain, activating your brain, activate all your senses, and then come down through your throat, which often is quite tight when we're using, this position a lot. Relaxing your throat, letting energy move through it. Let the energy collect here and then filter down through your spine, through your chest, down into your abdomen and out your legs through the center of your feet, out the soles of your feet. And think about this grounding that we can really do at any time using our mind. And we can use the herbal compress to help direct that energy as well. So I actually like anchoring it here and kind of pulling the tissue gently. You can see it's pulling this fascia in the front of my neck to release it gently. And again, we're doing a little bit of a friction massage because I tend to get stagnation in this area. So after, this is a safe area to really be able to kind of scrape the herbal compress, either laterally across to the shoulder or up and down, mainly down. Now we're going to come out of the scraping mode and think about rolling. So we can use the base of the palm and roll actually across. We can use the base of the palm and roll the herbal compress across, or you can do a series of compressions. Pressure, 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 pressure. And this feels wonderful when it's really hot to help open up this whole area underneath the collarbone. Our pectoralis muscles are right here, and they're often incredibly tight as well. So just massaging them and pressing into them can be a little bit painful. So using the warm heat, the soothing heat of the herbal compress to help relax the tissue and then allow a deeper massage to happen comfortably is one of the great advantages of this herbal medicine. So after you've really pressed into this area, I recommend doing little circles, just comfortable, and rocking across any area that feels really tight. Just like we did over the shoulder. Rocked across the top of the shoulder muscle. You can rock sideways across part of the pectoralis that feels really tight. There. So we've got occipital, eyebrow to temple, sternum, and then under the clavicle. So we kind of have the borders. We're narrowing in on the target, which is basically the jaws. So now we're going to find this muscle, the SCM, and just really very, very gently follow it up, rocking across it all the way up to the ear. So we come from the center of the clavicle and aim toward your ear. And this is really, really light. And with the heat, it's going to just slowly help to open up the fascia in that area. So you can do rocking movement upward. You can do a rocking movement downward. You can do a rocking movement forward to back. All of those things are helpful. And then the last component of this area is actually vibrating in. So we're just going to bounce. The goal is to feel tissue around this area jiggling. And when I'm doing it, I can feel my ear jiggling and even the side of my eye and my vision. So I don't know if you can see it. See my ear moving because that area is so tight. It's actually impacting my ear. So this is something that we can do to wake up the side of the neck, help relax the jaw without even working on the jaw yet, stimulate lymphatic fluid movement in this area just on its own. We're not pushing it any direction. We're just trying to open up the passageways. And we're being safe because we're not holding a spot of tension here. We're not cutting off the blood flow in the carotid artery, the jugular vein, or any of those vessels. Okay, same thing on the other side. Rocking, rocking, rocking across or up or down. And the other thing to keep in mind, now we're doing the vibrating movement. The other thing to keep in mind here is that when we're activating this side of the neck, it can stimulate the vagus nerve, and that can also decrease blood pressure. So if you already have low blood pressure, be careful not to spend too much time here. I would say only like maybe 1 minute maximum, because we don't want you to drop blood pressure and, feel too woozy. So this is a real area where we can impact our autonomic nervous system, which governs functions like digestion and blood pressure. From the Chinese medicine viewpoint, the neck is the interchange of yin and yang in the body. It's a harmonizing area. And as we're learning about the vagus nerve and this area of access here, it's harmonizing our brain and heart through heart rate variability. So we think of creating this cohesiveness, coherence throughout our body by allowing the smooth interchange of yin and yang, which also allows us the balance to be able to pivot from one mode of action to another. So I think of the herbal compress in this way. It's warm, so it's yang to a certain degree, but it's very soft and giving, which are a type of a yin quality. And our body, as we're using it, really just automatically accepts and receives the treatment of this warm movement that is not painful at all. Our body generally does not resist this type of pressure in a way that even gua sha can stimulate our body's kind of response of, wait a minute, what's trying to move my skin here? And like, how do I rearrange the connective tissue? This isn't really meant to try to rearrange the connective tissue. It's supporting the fascia to relax in the way that it already wants to relax. So I think of this as a treatment to use if your nervous system is really tapped out, and even regular massage feels too intense for you. I would recommend the steamed herbal compress because you barely have to use any pressure for it to still be really effective, as long as you keep it nice and warm. So we came up this side of the neck. Now we can come under the jaw. So just like this area we held and gently moved, thinking downward pressure. Now we can actually access the point under our jaw, the base of the tongue. So when it's really nice and warm, you can actually just rest your chin on it. Close your mouth and let your tongue touch the top of your mouth, behind your front teeth, up in the soft palate. And let your tongue find a neutral resting position so you can try to imagine relaxing your tongue, actually, and relax this area. Now this one you can rock side to side underneath your jaw. You can come forward, massage your chin, or you can just keep working along your jawline. There's a lot of lymphatic nodules under here in most people, and this is an area where you can help, again, to stimulate your nervous system and immune system response, which are connected together. So another advantage of using herbal compress here is that the warmth and herbal component will both stimulate the circulation here and also have an anti-inflammatory effect to try to help your body move fluid through this area. And I think of massaging this area as well. It's not only giving your nervous system great feedback, it's also stimulating the resilience of your immune system indirectly. So working under the jawline. Oftentimes people will have a little area of tension right here if there's a lot of fluid that has accumulated and been stuck under the ear. So want to gently rock across it and down. Don't want to press into that area that's tender too hard. We just want to let the heat of the herbal compress slowly loosen the tissue of that area. And oftentimes the fluid there has become more gelatinous or hard. And we want to help it turn into a free-flowing fluid again. So gentle stimulus with heat, herbs, and pressure can start to do that. This area. If you do have that type of accumulation, it's also a sign that you probably have a lot of tension in your jaw, some pretty consistent inflammation going on in the face or head, and a lot of tension in your neck, preventing that from moving down. So if you do have a little bit of congestion here, you want to spend more time working on the shoulders and neck to relax it, and then working on the jaw, and then very gently moving this area. But we don't want to press too hard on that spot. It's not going to be helpful. So coming up here, we're actually going to start rolling the front of the ear, and you can actually press the whole ear, massage your whole ear. And then follow the area of your scalp around your ear, coming up to your temple. We're doing the same thing that we did on the neck to vibrate it. So first roll the front of the ear, massage the ear with a rolling movement. And then we're going to vibrate the scalp this time and back down the neck to help the temples relax and to help the muscles of the scalp relax. Great. So now we should feel a relaxing sensation in the neck, the temples. You should start to feel more blood flow into your jaws, and you may even feel like your salivary glands activating. So that's all really good, indicating that your nervous system is responding and that the fluid is moving. So now we can come to the jaw and actually start rolling along the muscles in that area. I like to hold it this way, the handle down, and just directing pressure into my face and back towards the ear. It doesn't have to be one long roll, just little mini movements to activate that area. You can also just hold pressure. So hold pressure in your chin. Hold pressure on the side of the jaw. Hold pressure towards the actual muscle of the jaw, the masseter. And then come up to the joint. So again, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Little movements of rolling, then pressure, 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 front of the ear. Great. So we're kind of following the bony borders here. Now we're going to follow the hairline. So coming up to the hairline, I like to approach it up the forehead, and starting here, right between the eyebrows, we're going to like grab that spot and roll up. Grab the spot, roll up, roll up, roll up. You can grab under the eyebrow and roll over it, just like we did at the beginning. Another eyebrow, corner of the eyebrow, corner of the eyebrow. And now we're going to press into the hairline. So you can roll along the hairline this way, or you can just press in this way. Again, you can do this when it's quite hot because your hair acts as an insulator. And little points along the hairline are really important for relieving stress in the whole scalp and forehead. There's also a microsystem of the scalp that can treat the whole body. So anytime you find a little bump that's tender or tight or just feels reactive, spend a little extra time there and know that you're actually treating, usually you're treating something else in your body. You don't even have to know what it is. But usually there will be some kind of benefit systemically. So oftentimes for me, I find that working on points in the center of the anterior hairline will help with my neck tension. So that's just one kind of anecdotal usage of it. So hairline, and then we're coming back to the cheek. So we want to actually focus on these areas here, as there's a lot of fluid accumulation that can happen here and then be blocked from moving out by a very tight jaw. So all the stuff we're doing is going to be helping the jaw muscle too. And then now we're going to actually try to open up the pathway across the jaw so that this area can drain more easily. So I'm going to press backward, find the anterior edge of the masseter muscle, which is basically this wide. It's pretty wide. And we want to press in towards that muscle and roll back towards the ear. And let that muscle loosen up. Now we're going to start a little bit forward, under the cheekbone, and roll back towards the ear, under the cheekbone, back towards the ear. And then we're going to start closer to the nose, still under the cheekbone, roll back towards the ear. And now we're going to start basically doing little tiny rocking movements from under the cheekbone right up onto it. Rock onto it, and then follow that around. And then you can actually go back down the neck again to help loosen that up. So rock, 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 down, down, down. Same thing on the other side. So we're going to find the anterior edge of the masseter, press into it, roll across the muscle. And as you're doing that, oftentimes it can help, again, relax the temple, relax the outer eyebrow, and can help open up your field of vision as well. I'm going to work on your peripheral vision here. Okay, and then start a little forward, roll back. Start a little bit forward, roll back. And then coming up here, we're going to do that little rocking movement. Rock, 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 rock under the cheekbone. We're massaging all of those connections of the muscles that attach under the cheekbone. And there's also a lot of nerves and vessels that move under this area. So we're activating a lot of different layers here and helping open up the channels to drain above the ear and below the ear. This can also help if you have puffy eyes, under eye or above the eye. So a lot of the drainage happens this way. We want to help open this area so you can have drainage happen from the under eye area. So, and now in order for basically like relaxing your jaw even more if it's still pretty tight, just re-steam the herbal compress and just spend a lot of time rocking up the masseter. Make sure you go all the way up to your temples and then go from front to back. Just massage across that muscle and make sure that you come out to your chin and back again. And make sure you come down your neck again. So I really want to focus on this whole line and this whole line coming up that way. So I know so many people are suffering from wearing their masks so much, from altering how we speak, not only under our masks, but when we are speaking and seeing ourselves speak, I'm sure that changes how we move our mouths, when we're more conscious of how we're moving our face. And then, of course, stress. So there are multiple ways that we are having different type of feedback with the muscles in our face, muscles of expression and the automatic expression of ourselves. So I found that this is one tool that can really work at the intersection of aromatherapy, heat treatment, and self-massage to do a really stellar job of helping us reset our neck, head, and jaw after this kind of onslaught of different things that are throwing us out of balance. So thank you for paying attention for this long. I hope you're able to follow along and really gain a benefit from this treatment. And please, please leave me a comment or message letting me know how it's worked for you, or if you have any other questions about specific problems you might have. We can either talk about that in person, online, or I can do further demos and tutorials. So thank you so much. This is Beth Russell with Studio Sapan. Take care.